All right, now we are live. What's going on, everybody? It's four awesome guys. We're back. This time today, we have Tyler Boss. He's with us. The gentleman has worked on Lazarus. Um, we Can Never Go Home, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and also the new hot sensation right now, Four Kids Walk Into a Bank. So, say what's happening there, Mr. Tyler.
It's happening, everybody.
I like it. So, I got Merc over here. I got Mr. Sean, Jean Paul Ace Peter, and I have Archangel as well. So today we're going to be talking with Tyler. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and we will go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty of it. All right?
Is the chat on?
The chat is on, sir.
Okay.
So yeah, Sean, you want to start us off?
Sure, yeah. Thanks for coming on today. That's awesome. I gotta say, I love Four Kids Walk to a Bank. I thought it was really cool. I was amped up as soon as I heard about it. I was ready to go. And then I got, from when I cracked open the first page, I was like engrossed in the art and the characters and everything. I was wondering, how much of a hand did you have in the creation of Four Kids Walk to a Bank?
So me and Matt have been friends for a long time. We met working at Forbidden Planet in New York City, and Matt he would like pitch me stories that he wanted to do because he was just then starting to try and like break into being a writer and trying to get work. And I was still going to school at the School of Visual Arts. So we would always like sort of talk back and forth. Like he'd give me story pitches, like, "Oh, you should try and see if you can get this dude or this person to work on you with a story." Um, and then, one time he was running through. It was right around the time after he finished 12 Reasons to Die, and which is a book he did with Black Mask with Ghostface and the Wu-Tang Clan, and he sort of was running through all these different pitches, and he gave me these two pitches, and I was like, oh, those are cool. Like, maybe you should do this, and like maybe you should hire this person and try and get in touch with this person. The art style might fit. And then he gave me the Four Kids pitch basically, and I was like, oh, I'll do that. Like, I'll do that one. Like, that's the one for me. So he sort of had an initial idea of what he wanted it to be, and then we sort of really collaborated on it together. He did like sort of a rough pass on a script or something, and then allowed me to sort of be abrasive in that I would slash the script and be like, oh, we need to add a page here, or these panels are unnecessary, or like let's cut the dialogue here. I don't know, me and Matt have a very open back and forth between each other, which is probably just because we're buddies or whatever. We trust each other.
Nice.
So to get to the question, it's a pretty 50-50 split between me and Matt, I would say, as far as workload. Like, me and him take it 50-50. Or, not discounting our great letterer Thomas and Claire, who does flatting for me, Claire Dezuidi, and Courtney Menard, who also does additional like wallpaper designs and stuff for me.
Nice, very cool. Mark?
So are you going to continue working on the series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, until the end. We're doing 5 issues, and that's it. It's not going to be continuing. It's not going to be like We Can Never Go Home, where it was going to be 1 volume, and then there was such demand that Matt's like, well, I do have a second story in this like universe. Me and Matt have sort of, since the beginning, like, this is the story. There's a way that at the end of it there could be a second story, but I don't think either one of us is much interested in doing that. I think we'd much rather do something different.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you do a lot of design work as well. What influences you more when you're doing approaching a book? Do you your comic past or your design past? Because this book gives both of that. I mean, it's beautiful to look at.
Thank you. That's very sweet. Yeah, it's definitely, well, it's a weird thing. So I do a lot of design work. I'm the graphic designer for a comics publisher called Z2 Comics, which is glorified of me is making sure that everybody's pages look nice and giving them good credits pages. But I'm a big design nerd. I'm a really big mid-century modern design fan, which is pretty obvious across 4Kids probably. But people like Saul Bass or like Alfred Hitchcock movies, things like that. But when I went to a brief story, I guess, but like when I went to School of Visual Arts is where I went to school, and I had Klaus Janson as one of my teachers, and he always sort of said that comics are graphic design first, and then the drawing is just window dressing. And so really, I mean, like and to an extent, you know, he's being a little hyperbolic, and he likes to make grand statements because that's class. But it's true, where it's like a lot of comics is just graphic design, you know, making sure that elements read clearly in a panel, and then also as a whole unit as the page, and then across a book. And so it's constant just graphic design, and then the style in which you draw it is just window dressing, or you know, to get the tone across. There's the sort of bare bones, which is the design, and then the drawing or the sort of finished product is just to make sure that, you know, it's appealing. And so I can't really disconnect the two. They're sort of hand in hand for me.
Nice.
That's actually pretty cool. Now, what made you guys go ahead and do the whole, I guess, board game Magic, or it's Magic, right? Or Dungeons
Dungeons and Dragons.
in the beginning? What made you guys decide to go that route? Because that right there was funny, especially with the kid going back and forth wanting him to call him.
Right.
Call him, and he was like, "No, I'm not calling you that."
Right.
What made you guys?
Yeah. That was Matt. He sort of like he had that idea of, he sort of wanted to do something that would introduce our characters, but in a way that got across the idea that they were children, but also got the conceit across that these are very intelligent children. And he sort of came up with the D&D conceit and wanted to do it, but he was actually really nervous about it. He was like, you know, we're going to have this book on stands that's called Four Kids Walk Into a Bank, and it's about children robbing a bank, which is already a terrible thing to try and sell to people. And then we're going to open it with like a fantasy book. And he's like, what? Like, I don't know if we should do this. And I was like, no, we should. Like, I think it's really funny, because he had written the script already, and I was like, for that piece of it, and I was like, no, this is really funny. We should do this, and like maybe do this across each issue. Spoiler: most of the issues open with a new, like, it's some sort of genre that isn't the book, if that makes sense. There's the second issue isn't out, but the second issue opens, and it's a video game. But Matt really, and I think, wanted that sort of like, when you're doing, I don't know how many people tabletop gameplay. Matt always says this. He never plays D&D. He plays He used to, like, was a Warhammer kid, but I'm like, I love D&D, and I play Shadowrun, and like I love tabletop RPGs, but the weird storytelling that comes across from people when they're doing that is such easy and great things to be able to write in your art, or in the book you're trying to put out. Where it's like, if you ever see people when they're doing role playing or something, like, it's like they get so into the character that they completely lose themselves, and so they're just the purest sense of themselves, in a sense. And that seemed like a really good storytelling opportunity.
I liked it. And that's cool that you guys are gonna into the next issues, which I can't look.
That's awesome.
I can't wait for
Yeah,
you
well,
to.
yeah, I just read it last night and I loved it. I sent Joe a picture and I was like, this book is good. Like, I'm usually more mainstream comics. Like,
Sure. I mean,
I'm just now getting into independent stuff.
Yeah,
So.
I see that jock. What is it? Black Mirror in the back. Love that book. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Like, you know, I'm. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ark. I was just gonna get to a couple questions in the comments, but go ahead, and then I'll ask the questions.
Yeah, sure.
Go for it, buddy.
Oh no, I was just chatting back and forth. We'll get into some questions, man. Go for it.
You sure? We only got them for like.
Yeah, no.
Hour, man. Ask all your questions. Forget them. No, I'm kidding.
No. Go. Seriously. Or else I'll get onto a tangent and I want to get to no questions. So.
Well, we'll hit the questions out quick, then we'll get to us. So one of the persons in the chat, his name is Silos or Carlos. He actually met you at Midtown Comics when you and Rosenberg were signing, and he had you go ahead and
Oh yeah.
yeah, he did the sketches, and he's the one that asked you for your email. He gave me the email address. So as you see in Sean's picture here, he has one of the sketches. I have the other, and Silos or Carlos, he has the one with the little eye mark, where she had the black eye. So we were pretty jealous because he kept the black eye.
Oh, that's
All black eyes.
Yeah.
So we
Really
really
bring it to a show. I'll edit.
right, right. We'll hold it up. So
Yeah.
wanted to say that he's the reason why I got in contact with you, or how I was able to get into contact with you guys. And then we have Amazing Murphinator. He has a question of, with the book that you guys are doing on 4Kids, did Black Mask try to change your guys' story at all at any point in time?
No, they were definitely bummed about the ending, but they never tried to change it. Black Mask is they're great. It's we really only deal with Matt Pizzolo, who's also the writer on Young Terrorists and a couple other Black Mask books. And Pizzolo is he's an old school punk rock dude, independent filmmaker, writer. He will definitely give his ideas. He'll throw it out there and be like, "This is great," or maybe what if you did this? But for the most part, there's very little editorial. It's mostly just me and Matt do whatever we want, and we've never had anything there's never been "Oh, you guys need to change this." It's always just sort of offering up maybe ideas or just "How can I help you?" Definitely not super pumped about the ending, but we're confident in it. But also, it's great. It's great work on Black Mask.
Okay. The next question was from Tat Comics. He asked, at what age did you know that you wanted to do this for a living?
So I grew up reading comics my whole life. I grew up in Buffalo, and there's not a lot of comic shops there, or the ones that were around were too far away for me to ride my bike to. So it was a lot of the Sunday Funnies and Calvin Hobbes books and Bruce Timm, other TB, but inverse it. Batman the Animated Series stuff, which was my inway into comics. But my grandmother used to go to these garage sales, and she would get me 10 or 20 comic books, and every time she would come over to see me, she would give me 10 or 20 comic books, and then the next time she'd come and see me, she'd bring me 10 or 20 more. First one I ever got, Teen Titans, Spotlight, Nightwing. Great fucking book, still got it in my box. 1980. So I'd always draw comics as a kid or something, but I probably really didn't take it seriously as a thing until junior year of high school. Weirdly, my high school in Buffalo had a really good arts program, and we even had a comics class where the teacher had a ton of comics. And I sort of sat. I remember specifically sitting in his class one day and reading a Wolverine, or it might have even been a Jeff Loeb, Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness Batman versus Superman from the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. Or Batman, not Batman versus, but Batman and Superman, if you remember that run or something. But reading that and looking at it and being I can do better comics than this. I can do better than this. I'll just do this for a living. not to disparage masters, Ed McGuinness and Jeff Loeb, but snotty punk rock teenager. I can do better than this.
That's awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Real petulant child stuff.
Right. Talking about Ed McGuinness, look at you, one of the best Deadpool artists, and you're over here saying I could do better than that. Get that crap out. I agree.
No, yeah. Real crappy child stuff. Real until you get older and people knock you down, and you're oh, okay.
I like it. That's good. And that'll segue us into this next question that we have by Jeff Johnson. He actually wanted to know, what was your favorite artist? What was one of the artists that you looked up to as you draw?
This book in particular, or in general?
In general.
Any
Growing up, I guess.
probably Mazzucchelli, easily David Mazzucchelli. Batman Year One was maybe like the earliest one of the earliest comics I got. And Mazzucchelli has just forever been a huge influence, and especially his career has always been very interesting to me. I sort of come at comics from a more grew up mainstream, and then took a shift towards the indie, and now I'm definitely I just read everything. Like all comics are great. I want to read every comic, and there's every single comic, even the worst comic, has something to offer. But Mazzucchelli was somebody who, I really admired him for his ability to not be put in a box. He sort of would change styles based upon what the book needed, but still had this complete, amazing facility in drawing and storytelling that was always incredibly impressive. He's probably the person who I would put at the top of my pyramid of influences. Apart from that, I'm a huge Dan Clowes fan. I love Adrian Tomine. David Aja is a huge influence. Wes Craig. I love Alex Toth, or Toth, however you pronounce it. John Paul Leon, big John Paul Leon fan. Frank Miller, love Frank Miller. I even like his new, people crap on him, but I think his Dark Knight 3 covers, the Superman jumping, is maybe the most amazing piece of abstract art I've ever seen in my entire life. As far as comics influence that goes. And then, I'm a big film and design person too, so a lot of my influences come from people like Saul Bass or Milton Glaser, Alfred Hitchcock, Ozu Yasuhiro. But Mazzucchelli and then indie dudes like Dan Clowes are probably right around there too.
Okay, that's awesome. Go ahead, Ark. What you got, man?
So I noticed that you worked on my favorite book out right now, which is Lazarus. I super love this series. I love this book. Could you tell me going back to the difference between working on with Image and Black Mask? Is there a big difference between working to the big? Because Image is one of the bigger independent, and Black Mask I know is coming up. So is there a big difference in the way they operate, or are they about the same?
Money?
No, I mean
as
operation.
No, that was my.
I was like, damn it, I can't answer it correctly at all.
No. No, they're very similar in that they're very hands-off. And so, so Black Mask is literally just, when me and Matt finish the book, we send it to Pizzolo and they put it out. Or they just tell us, hey guys, we need a cover for Diamond this week. And Image, I'm not as involved in Lazarus as, say, I would be with 4Kids, right? Because I'm the person drawing all 4Kids and the co-creator. Whereas Lazarus, I'm just Michael's boy. But I'm CC'd in all the emails and everything. But Image is still very hands-off. We have a great editor, David Brothers, who's just the best. Who is basically there to make sure our books are paginated correctly and that they're coming out on time. Besides that, do you really want to edit Greg Rucka? Just let that dude do his or Michael art.
That's what I was going to say. Greg Rucka is a big wig, and so I was just wondering, do you get any input with the dialogue or anything, or are you just no?
Greg's just doing his thing, and him and Michael have a bit of a back and forth every once in a while on the email chain of oh, maybe we should switch this, maybe we should do this, but for the most part, it's just Greg does the script, Michael bangs out the drawings, ink them, and or the backgrounds, ink them, and then we have Santi does the colors, and the amazing Jody Wynn, who's now lettering Wonder Woman with Greg as well, letters it. And Eric Troutman, our amazing art designer. I can't forget Eric. Sorry, he's a super big sweetheart, and the person who on the email chain is always like, "Yo, Michael, that's not how somebody would hold a gun. It would actually be more like this." And then checking all the references on the sword play. It's pretty funny.
Right.
Well, that's good.
We also get some good emails of Greg and his daughter sword fighting as reference for Michael, which is pretty funny.
That's really good. I mean, you don't want to have that backwards hand on a rifle. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name no names on that one.
Oh, you won't, but I will. You don't want to pull Rob Liefeld.
Well, no.
Oh yeah. Oh, Liefeld's another one where that dude is maybe one of the most interesting artists in the world to me. And I'll leave it at that. I think he is a fascinating creature.
Very well put. I respect that.
Right. Exactly. Right. So, Merc, man, you've been quiet this whole time, buddy, except for that when I brought up that guy, because we all know how you like him.
I was just waiting my turn.
There you go. We'll go. It's your turn, buddy.
So with you speaking about independent books, I'm very big into independent. That's what my collection mostly consists of, except for Deadpool. What is your favorite independent book that you have not worked on that you love to read?
Deadly Class. I'm a big Rick Remender fan as far as I mean, does Image count as independent now, guys? Does that not count
It
anymore?
still technically is.
Okay, we'll go with a small Image title then. I'll go with a small Image title instead of like a Remender one. The Violent, Ed Brisson and Adam Gorham. Huge fan of. There's another book that Brisson does called Last Contract with Boom that I think is great. If we're gonna go real small, like independent, Michael DeForge's Lose series from Koyama Press is my favorite annual get. Optic Nerve from Adrian Tomine from Drawing Quarterly. Always pick that up. Let me think. I pick up a lot of comics. Damn. I'm trying to think of like.
Cursed Pirate Girl?
No, I don't know that one. What's that?
It is a book done by Jeremy Bastian.
Okay. Wait. One second. Let me get this pen.
It's
Opened up a can of worms.
Cursed Pirate Girl.
Are the ones that were produced by Olympian Publishing.
Okay.
And we had one that dropped in late 2015 for issue number 4, but it's the annual. Boone called it annual 2015.
Right.
And he writes it, draws it, and everything himself. It's just him that does it all.
Oh, that's awesome. Cursed Pirate Girl?
Cursed Pirate Girl, yes.
Alright, no, I'm gonna find that.
It's
Thanks
a
for that.
very pricey book for the first prints. Now the second, third prints are extremely cheap, but you can't find it on the internet to just like browse through it to like
Right.
read it. But it's
Well, you
just one of
seem
those books. Oh, fantastic.
You seem confident about it. Yeah, no, I'm gonna at least try and get the third print so I can just read it.
Well, Merc, why don't you go ahead and,
Yeah,
and
just
show
send
him,
it to him.
just show him the friggin' books that are behind your head. Grab them off the wall and say, "This is Cursed Pirate Girl."
Just get it over with, man. Get it over with. You're gonna do it.
There's trade paperback of Cursed Pirate
Yes,
Girl, issue
there
1
is.
through 3, that's
This
out.
is the cover for the trade paperback.
Oh, it looks familiar as hell.
It was
Okay.
produced by Arkea. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but that's the publisher.
Oh, that's
of the
right.
Paperback. This is issue number 1 of Cursed Pirate Girl, and it's the real thick cardstock for the cover. It is just hand stamped for the lettering on the cover. With the price, it is just I absolutely love this book. I'm sorry, this is like one of my most favorite books. I know me and Sean did an in-depth review on it, but I absolutely love this book. I can't stop talking about it.
You got the other two behind you, right? Is that the other two on the shelf?
Yeah, that's issue 2 and 3 right there on it.
Yeah.
But
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, he jumped off East to West, and now he's on Cursed Pirate Girl.
Oh, don't get. We can talk about
That's
East and
ending,
West
isn't
for
it?
days.
Isn't that
West.
ending?
Is that?
Yeah,
is
it-
that-
East to West?
It's going to.
Please
It's going to be
tell
in the
me.
60s that it will end.
Oh, really? I thought they were going to stop at trade 6. Oh, wow.
No. I've been reading that Dragata and Hickman are going to go 2 years or a year after the apocalypse happens in the books, and they're 2 years away in the apocalypse now in the book. So
they got a lot of
it's
story.
another 30 issues, and it's on issue 28. So
A lot of story left.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, I've got a question here. The character Paige in Four Kids Walk Into a Bank, I mean, it's such a strong character. Is that based on anybody in real life? I mean, like I said, because that's the protagonist, Paige. She just blows right through, man. It's just an amazing character.
Yeah, she is based on what me and Matt wish we were at that age.
Right, cool.
Like we were. It's like we like, you know. I think everyone sort of had that friend in their group that actually was the like strong leader. And I think me and Matt were both not that in our childhood friend group. Matt said that he's probably Burger, and I said I'm a much shorter Stretch. But us probably like also like, you know, wishing we were who Paige is. To a certain degree, Paige has got a lot of problems. She's got a lot of stuff going on.
So then who would be pee in his pants?
Walter?
Oh, yeah, who would be...
Oh, yeah. It's probably Thomas. Thomas hasn't come out and said it, but Thomas Maurer, the letter. He might be Walter. I might even be Walter. Who knows? That's Walter. My fiance's favorite character is Walter. She can't get enough of him, which I think is cute.
There's a couple questions here in the chat. One is from JLS Comics. He asks, "How do you feel about comics translating to movies, and could you see Four Kids be picked up by any movie studio?" I'll give my opinion. I could, because I mean that's like your typical Italian Job style book so far, from what it seems like. So I could see it happening. I could see it being pretty funny.
Yeah, it may or may not be in the works.
Yeah, see, this is one of those things we were talking about before. One of those things.
Who knows? Who knows?
This might be one of those things where I can't talk about that.
I think I can say this. I think it could really work as a movie. I don't think it could work as a TV show, unless it was like a one-season TV show. I just don't. The story needs to be what it is. It doesn't function outside of 2 hours. It doesn't function outside of 5 issues. And so it could definitely. I think it could translate well to a movie. It'd be really amazing if Steven Spielberg did it. I think that would be a very interesting movie, maybe. But I think in the right hands, it could translate to a very good movie. And I'd be very interested to see that, and hopefully be a part of it. Yeah. And as far as the first part of that question, I mean, there's a lot of great. I haven't seen Preacher yet. I haven't sat down and watched that yet. But not current on the current season of Walking Dead. I sort of wait until it comes on to Netflix because I don't own a TV. But I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. I watch that every week, and love the Walking Dead show, and dying to check out Preacher. And I love. I'll say it, man. I loved X-Men Apocalypse. I thought it was a total train wreck, but I thought it was great. I had a blast.
So bad it's good.
Yeah, well, I had this big discussion with Matt afterwards, so Matt and me were in Houston last week when Apocalypse came out, and Rosenberg is X-Men is like the end-all be-all for him. That is like his favorite thing in the world. And we were getting texts from a bunch of our friends who had gone and seen it, and like one of our friends, I won't say his name, he works at DC. He's a DC writer. Was like, hey man, he was like, X-Men Apocalypse so bad, way worse than Batman versus Superman. And that's like, there's no way that's possible. And I turned and I was like, yo, you know I like Batman versus Superman. And he's like, no, you didn't. And I was like, well, let me be clear. I watched Batman versus Superman in the same way that I read Frank Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin, which is just like the biggest train wreck in the world, and it knows it's terrible, but it's just flicking you off the whole time, just being like, yeah, fuck it, we know how bad this is, and we're just gonna go full steam ahead. Yeah. That was weird tangent, sorry.
It was good. It was really
Good
good.
stuff. Thanks for being candid. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't work in superhero comics.
I don't work
Who cares?
those guys.
Speaking of TV, I heard that Lazarus was being picked up a long time ago for a TV show.
Yeah.
Is that
It is,
still in the works?
It is. It's
Or is that something you can't say?
I can say this. I know I can say this. I don't know how much I can go forward. It's looking good. You know, hopefully soon there'll be an announcement about some of the stuff. And some of the stuff is really cool. If you're a fan of the book, I would be very pumped, and I would be optimistic.
Yeah, because Forever Carlisle, she's one of my favorite characters. She's such a badass. Love her.
Yeah, yeah. Ev, she's the best. Did you finish the last arc?
Yeah, I'm waiting for like issue 22 to come out. I don't know when that's coming out. They said they were taking a break, but
We've been working on it. We're trying to get ahead so there's not as many delays.
Yeah.
We're almost done with 23 right now. We should be done with 24 shortly after that. And I think 22 is in maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah, I've been
really
trying to
interesting
get
stuff. I don't even know. I should really ask. I don't even know, but I should really ask Michael and Greg how long it's supposed to be because I have no idea. That's one weird thing. I'm like, how long do I have this job? I have no idea how long I'm doing this for.
You've just been cruising along, just letting it go, like la la la.
Yeah, just
when the paychecks are going to stop.
Right.
When am I gonna have to start? I'm gonna have to start working at Forbidden Planet again so I can pay my rent.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We have another question now. This gentleman here, his name is Rob Wise Guy 82. He's very big into independent books. I try to get him on here as well because he's actually the one I actually heard about 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank from. He was getting all those Los Angeles Con exclusive covers that you guys had out there. And he just kept talking about it. He's like, this is a book, man. You got to check it out. You got to check it out. And I was like, all right, I'm going to check it out. And so I went and ordered me one. I got me one off of the Bay. And then I went ahead, and now it's on my pull list. But his question, he says, you guys have maybe already touched on this, which we might have, but does Tyler have anything new coming out he can tell us about? So is there anything new that you have coming out that you can talk about?
No. There's one thing I can sort of talk about, which is I'm in the works of a book that's me and Matt are gonna have another book probably after 4 Kids. That's not 4 Kids. It's gonna be a new one, and that's gonna be coming out probably late 2017, probably 2018. That me and Matt are working on, and then there's another book that I am doing with another person that we are co-writing together. And I'm drawing it, and but it's me and another person writing, and that will probably also be late 2017, 2018. And then when Marvel decides they want to hire me for Daredevil, that'll be really exciting, and I can talk about that. That's not at all something that's happening.
Man, I was hoping to see you get on Power Rangers, man. I was like, man, Kyle Higgins needs somebody else on that. Where are we, man?
I'm gonna. Oh, fuck! Can I tell that story?
You should.
Yes, you can.
You should. It's okay. I'm a big
Nobody
fan.
watches our channel
Um,
anyways.
it's
Just leave names out and you can tell
Yeah.
a story.
I was
Make up names.
okay. No, I'll leave names out. I'll leave. That's there we go, guys. Okay, so I was in a car with Matt and one of our friends, or it's somebody. Me and Matt were hanging out with somebody, and we were like sitting in a car and we were talking about a bunch of stuff, and the person we were with starts like shitting on Power Rangers and just like shitting on it, going like nonstop. And I turned to him and I'm like, yo man, didn't they ask you to like write Power Rangers? And he was like, no. Or sorry, fuck, no. Fucked up the whole joke. He goes, sorry. He goes, I was like, yo man, aren't you writing Power Rangers? And he was like, no. They didn't ask me. But it was like, I totally would have. It's like, you fucking the worst.
That's good.
It destroyed the punchline on that.
And I like that punchline.
It's all right though, because we
Ruined
get
it.
all together at the end. We got it. He
Yeah.
wants to write. He wants to write for him.
Yeah.
He wants to.
Got
It's
it
so
unlocked.
yeah.
That's funny. Somebody did ask, where can you buy original art print from you? I know you have a website that shows a
I
lot
do.
of stuff that you have, but I'm not sure if you can buy things on there. Can you? Other than the book.
No, other than the books, yeah. I don't really do prints. I probably should. At Heroes Con, me and Matt are going to have Heroes Con, next week in Charlotte. Me and Matt are going to have, we did a cover that was based on Touch of Evil, which is a Orson Welles movie. It's just sort of like Paige on an orange background holding a gun. It was one of the variant covers for the book. We're going to have a print of that at Heroes, and anything that's left over I'll put up on the website. But at the moment, no, but working on it. I'm sort of new to this whole idea that anybody would want to buy something I had made.
Right.
So it's been mostly just trying to make comics because that's what I enjoy doing. And I never thought that if I was ever lucky enough that somebody would want to buy a comic I made, cool. Never imagining that somebody would want to buy a print. But that'll be something I'll eventually start doing.
Well, I'll tell you, a few people are already wanting to print in the chat. They're asking.
Okay.
They're asking like, when are you going to like New York Comic Con?
I live in New York. I live in Brooklyn, and I would be there, but I'm getting married that day.
Oh, well, congrats.
There's no excuse.
That's what-
No
I
excuse.
said, I said that to the future wife, and she yelled at me. So I was like trying to work it out. I was like, what if I go Thursday, and then the wedding's on Saturday? So like I'll come in on Friday night, but I'll go like Thursday and Friday morning, and I'll come on Saturday. And she's like, no, you crazy person! Like absolutely not. I was like, you're probably right about that.
You can
You're
just tell
probably
him,
right that that's a stupid thing
I'll love
to
you
do.
tomorrow. I'll still love you tomorrow.
We'll still be married.
Well, I mean, here's the
How do you
thing.
think I make an income?
No, but it's like the real thing about it is I'm the person who picked the date. It was like subconsciously, it was me being like, I don't want to be at New York Comic Con. It's on me. It's all definitely on me.
The people in the chat are saying
people
you
are
guys
saying-
should just get married at the Comic Con.
At the con.
Just see if Kevin Smith is there. See if Kevin Smith is there.
Yeah.
He's ordained. You can have Kevin Smith marry you guys right there. Boom. We got it.
man,
We
awesome.
set it up for you right there.
Well, the reason why we did it is because also weirdly, the day of our wedding is also Matt Rosenberg's partner's birthday. And so this will be the first year that she doesn't have to go to New York Comic Con. She can just go to our wedding. So she's pumped about it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
So
total accident.
Rosenberg's coming here to the Bay Area soon. From what supposedly he's supposed to be trying to hit as many stores as possible in a weekend or something like that. And
Sounds like Matt.
yeah, I was wondering, how come you're not riding with him?
I gotta draw the book.
He's got to prepare for that wedding.
I guess the word.
I'm gonna be. When's he doing that? Is he doing that during San Diego?
I'm not sure, but he's gonna be in the Bay Area, so I don't know. I think they were saying somewhere in late June, early July. I think they were saying that he was.
I might actually be doing it with him then. So I might actually be there. Yeah, there's a weird thing where me and Matt kind of fly by the seat of our pants. Matt's a little bit more put together than I am as far as making sure plans go through. But I might be going to that. I might not be. We're still working that out. But yeah, I might be going with him.
Well,
it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Is that where you guys all are at? Is it the Bay Area?
I'm from the Bay Area. You got Skylar, the one shaking his head down there,
I'm
with
in
the Cursed
Virginia.
Pirate Girls. He's in Virginia, and we're gonna leave Sean last because he's the goodie. And then we got Archangel Brandon. He's from Tennessee, and Sean, he's all the way up in Newfoundland.
Oh man,
Yeah.
nice.
He's
You're
the-
not heading up there anytime soon, are you?
Yeah, no. No one comes up here. Unless they run out of seal or something. So.
Blubber. I need to get my
Yeah.
whelp.
You know what? My oil lamps are low.
Exactly. So Tyler, people want to know, like, what is your con schedule? You know, you said you're going to Charlotte next week. What's the rest of the summer looking like?
Probably gonna do Baltimore. Probably gonna hit up San Diego. Gonna miss New York. What's the other ones? There's like a couple of weird ones where it's like me and Matt have like a big Google Doc calendar of it. And I should probably have more of an answer to that. Definitely Heroes. Probably 90% San Diego. 90% Baltimore. Definitely gonna miss New York Comic Con. But I'm gonna try and sprinkle a few more in there, and I'll post about that when I figure it all out. It's been a little bit weird trying to figure out the logistics of that stuff. I know Matt last year. It's funny because Matt, me have been friends for so long and both been trying to do comics for as long as we've known each other. And last year, when We Can Never Go Home took off, seeing him do like, I don't know, he did something like 40 shows last year, something crazy like that, and just seeing him like after all, like at the end of it, just completely drained and just like, because he wasn't prepared for what that sort of life is. And now me and him go to shows and we like see the pros, like, you know, Brubaker or Remender, all these dudes who are at every show all the time or whatever. And you're like, oh, you guys are like amazing. Like, not only do you make your comics and put them out on time and do amazing work, you're also like have enough endurance to like travel all the time and like stay in hotel rooms away from your families and like stuff like that is pretty freaking cool. Like, impressive. It's impressive. I don't know. But I want to get to that point. I want to be like what's that? What was it? We were at Space City Comic Con last week in Houston, which was an interesting show that can be Googled to find out about some interesting stuff about the Sons of Anarchy. But there was a lot of weird drama. There was a lot of weird drama with that show. The people me and Matt dealt with, the comics people, were amazing. They were the best people ever. Shout out to Robert, the best. The show itself, what a nightmare. But we were there and we were hanging out with Grand Maester Pycelle, the dude from Game of Thrones. What is it? The Nazi and Indiana Jones, and General. Come on, help me out here. Empire Strikes Back. He's the general who takes over after what's his face gets choked off because he came in too close.
Oh,
Doesn't matter.
yeah, I know what you're talking
General
about.
Veers. General Veers. We were hanging out with him. He's like 90 years old, and he just does these cons appearances all the time. It's like, how do you do this, man? It's amazing. Hanging out, drinking wine all day. I guess that's how you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, you want to be into that con stuff. I mean, how is everything now compared to like the first stuff that you worked on, like your own stuff? You create your own stuff. You wrote and you drew. I mean, because I went on your website and I was looking at some of the stuff that you did, and I was like, man, this is so different compared to seeing you doing, you know, for kids. I mean, what made you transition like that?
I mean, it's definitely a thing that I sort of take from David Mazzucchelli, where it's like I don't like personally, I don't like to be constricted to one way of drawing or one way of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested in it's. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say I read every type of comic. Like I probably read 40 or 50 comics a week, and that's just because I'm really obsessed with story and the way that story is told. And visual style is a part of that, especially in comics, let alone it be television, film, books. I mean, I guess not books because that's not visual. It's just all in your head. But my early work, yeah, writing and drawing and that stuff, it was definitely focused on maybe more introspective themes or abstract themes, and that was something that I was just more interested in writing at that point. And I was sort of working on 4Kids simultaneously while working on that stuff, or working simultaneously on 4Kids with Matthew, while I was working on that independent stuff. And so it wasn't much of a transition. There was a bit of a head game I was playing with myself about like there's a lot of different factions maybe in comics where there's like the very, very independent, the moderately independent, mainstream, and as far as like a branding issue, as when you're an artist, like not to put it in terms of money or anything like that, but like there is a real concern of if you're an artist or a creator or something, there's a branding issue of like you don't want to stretch yourself across too many things because then people don't know where to use you, or rather like, well, you do a lot of things, but we'll just use the person who does the one thing we're looking for. But I kind of don't care anymore. Like it's a thing where it's like, I'm interested in all these things. This is what I want to do, and why not live your life in the way that you want to live it, even if it maybe isn't the most financially sound.
Right.
But I don't. I get just as much pleasure and creative fulfillment out of doing 4Kids as I do out of doing maybe the slightly more indie stuff that I do with the stuff that's all just mine, because it's just a different set of problems, and I'm just interested in story, and story presents problems, and then so what is the best way to solve this, or what is the most interesting way, or what's a cool thing we can do here. I mean, it's a little bit silly, but like when 4Kids #1 came out, I read reviews of it because I'd never had anybody review my comics before. And reading them, there was a couple of people where they were talking about how the backgrounds were sort of sparse, and I never really thought about that. Like I was sort of just like, well, the background is the information necessary to get the point across. And so I was listening to that, and I was sort of thinking about that, and I was like, well, what if in it the backgrounds weren't as sparse? Does that make the reader pause more? Does that make them interact with the panel more so we can create a slowdown in reading time across the page so we can get beads to read effectively? And so I played with that a lot in the second issue of sort of like adding really dense drawing, or not dense, but a little bit more complicated, or a little bit maybe a more complicated perspective or shot per se, in the way that maybe that slows the reader down, and maybe that makes this next beat more effective. But yeah, I definitely do see in viewership a division between my readers, between 4Kids readers and maybe my more independent stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'm interested in that crossover, and I think there's examples of people who do a great job, like David Mazzucchelli, who did Daredevil and Batman, but then went and did Asterios Paula. Like that there doesn't need to be a division in storytelling, that an artist or writer can have many different facets to them.
Wow.
Did I answer your question? I may have gone off a tangent.
Yeah. So there's one last question we're gonna go with here in the chat, and then we'll all get our last questions in, and then because I know we're hitting that hour mark here, we'll get you out of here.
Go a little bit over if you guys need to. It's fair. Well, I just gotta go drink a beer. That's all I got left today.
We can drink on the show. It's okay. We got Merc smoking a cigarette. You'll be all right. And there's a coffee. The question that's being asked, and these are all for all the New York cats. So you've already met Silos, Carlos.
Yeah.
And
super nice dude.
Yeah. Oh man, he's tall as shit. And Manny, he was there with him. Well, all those.
Yeah, his buddy that was with him, right?
Yeah, the little guy was with him. Yeah, little He's good people. Well, come on. Compared to like Carlos
Oh
is
yeah, right.
man. They want to know: are you going to be doing any signings at any other New York comic shops at all, anytime soon?
I don't know. Don't have anything set up. We definitely don't have anything set up. I will say, me and Matt still do stock signings at Forbidden Planet whenever an issue comes out. We go to Forbidden Planet and make sure that before the books go out on shelves, we sign at least half their stock for them, just because that's where we met. That's what paid our bills for a long period of time. I don't have anything set up. We might, but at the moment, no. When the trade comes out, we will have a signing. There's a couple of shops that are interested. We don't know which one we're going to do yet, though.
Okay. I'm pretty sure if we ask Carlos, he's going to say his local shop. So yeah, I know, Merc, you haven't asked much, man, but why don't we go ahead and give the floor to you, buddy? Why don't you go ahead and ask your last couple questions, bud?
I got nothing, honestly. I mean, Tyler hit everything on the head. He answered every single question so in depth that it didn't leave any vague areas to ask another question within that question.
Right?
I'm like, I got nothing. No, I did that. I got nothing.
That's good. I mean, just so you know, this is our second time we've done this. The first one was Jeremy Bastion, which was Cursed Pirate Girl. So you're the second gentleman.
Oh, awesome.
So it's actually really cool. So we're still kind of new to this, and we're just all rolling off the cuff with questions for you. So that's why if it feels a little like, man, what are these guys talking about? It's because this is new for us.
No, you guys are doing great. It seems like you've been doing it forever. I feel like the
Thank you. No, hell no. Sean, what do you got lastly for the gentleman?
Well, I'm wondering about, you did some work with Vice, Baby Teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Can someone go out and get a trade of that, or is it just digital?
It's on Vice forever for free, but there is I self-published a version of it, which you can buy on my web store, which is linkable through my website, which is just tylerboss.com. It's a 28-page risograph zine that has the Vice comic plus some other odds and ends, short story, comics stuff, just to fill it in and make it a little bit more of an object. Yeah. And I think it's $5 or something like that. Or I have it at every show that I go to too.
Well, thanks for coming on today, man. It's awesome talking to you. And like I said, I just think your artwork's beautiful. I love it. I totally can see the design and the comic fan in everything that you do. It's just so impressive. I'm happy for you with the success of 4K's Walk to a Bank. It's awesome. I love it. It's just.
Thank you so much, man. That's so kind. Seriously, too kind. I hope you like the second issue. I hope everyone likes the rest of the issues.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody will be pleased, just as we were with the first issue. So, again, thanks for coming on and talking to us, man. It's been awesome.
What do you got, Ark?
I just want to know what kind of beer he's going to drink.
There it is. I knew that question was
coming. Oh yeah, it's gonna be it depends on which bar I go to.
Oh, nice.
There's two bars. There's my preferred bar, which when I go there I get the Bud and Whiskey shot, which is $3. Or if I go to the other bar, it's the Miller High Life and Whiskey shot, and that's $4. So it depends on which one I go to. That's about as much of a toss-up as it is.
Drinker on a diet. That's what I'm talking about. Or drinker on a budget.
On a budget.
Yes.
My follow-up question is, me and Joe got a little debate going on here.
Oh God, here we go.
We're gonna pull this one in. We already got IT involved, and we're gonna. All right, that's fine.
My question is, do you think Superman is a pussy?
Because I think he's a pussy.
You know,
I
I
agree.
don't feel like I don't know Superman enough to make that assumption. I can call someone else that. Cyclops. Cyclops, just man up. It's like, stop it. Just man up. Superman. I've read Superman comics my whole life, and I still feel like he's just this weird veil of like nobody's this like nice. Like what? Like the only Superman comic, the only one, and this is gonna people are gonna boo me or whatever. I don't care. The only one that I like is All Star Superman, the Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely one. That's the only one that I can read, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like even Alan Moore's What Happened to the Man Tomorrow, I'm still just like, but I hate this guy. Like I don't like him.
Right. Have you read the
Because I haven't, and I've heard that's great.
That's
actually,
really good.
so I should check
Really
it
a good
out.
story.
I think this is the thing too, is I only want to read about like broken characters. Like I like Batman because he's a broken character. I like Daredevil because he's a broken character. I like Frank Castle because he's a broken character. Even Cap, like I love Cap. I love Steve Rogers. He's not shitty enough for me to get along with, and so I can't like read a. I'm like, you're too much better than me. Like there's not enough of like you being a delinquent that I can get behind.
So I have a follow-up question for this.
Oh God, I know which one you're gonna ask. Oh,
So
yeah.
me and another YouTuber by the name of Marky316 always go back and forth. So he's a big DC guy, and I'm starting to get more into Marvel, and I'm going towards the Silver Age portion of Marvel.
Mhm.
And he keeps telling me Aquaman is better than Namor, the Submariner. And I keep telling him Submariner is the father of Aquaman. I just want to get your piece on this, because to me Aquaman just seems like the bitch of the Justice League.
So with this here, this is gonna end all arguments with Marky. Who's better, Aquaman or Namor? And we're gonna leave it alone, Marky. I swear, we'll leave you alone, buddy.
I love Namor for the fact that you're right. Namor, Human Torch, and forget the third dude. Maybe it was a Cap. Was that the original, like pre-Marvel? The original Human Torch. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
It was
Was that
Cap.
was
Where's Sean?
The
Sean, you-
Golden Age.
it Cap?
Yeah, no, that,
Yeah,
that
was
would be it. And then there was other characters like the Vision. The Vision was them, but he's got
Yeah.
changed. But Namor, Torch, and Cap, they're the ones that have carried on since. So yeah.
So I love that about Namor. I also love that Namor is a homewrecker. That's real. That's real funny. always just cause, look. If I'm gonna be real, like Reed Richards creeps me out. You ever see that Venture Bros thing where it's like the fake Reed Richards, where it's like, what's more important than family? And he's like, science.
right?
It's like, yeah, Reed Richards is a creep. He's a creep. And poor Sue Storms for like, why does she put up with this shit? And then Namor comes in, all being all sexy, and like, can't blame Sue Storms. Aquaman, though, I used to really dislike Aquaman. I came at Aquaman from that Super Friends television show, the old like Hanna-Barbera one.
Mhm.
Alex
Where
Coffin
he's
signs,
riding a
but
flying fish.
yeah, like, what the hell is that? However, honestly, what changed my tune on Aquaman a little bit was I can't remember if it was Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, but that animated show that was on Cartoon Network in like the mid 2000s or something like that.
Okay.
And they did an Aquaman story that was like a 2-part long one, and it was the one where like Aquaman cuts off his own hand to save his child. And I was like, all right, so like 500 hours later, Aquaman? Yeah, that's pretty cool. And he's just like a surly bastard. I don't know. If I toss up, let me flip it. I don't know.
Gotta flip a coin on that one.
Aquaman. Aquaman. I grew up a DC kid. Aquaman. I don't know.
There
I'm
you
not
have it.
picking up 4 kids walking to a bank number 2.
Get out of here. Get out.
You answered wrong on this one, sir.
No. There you have it, Marky.
I screwed up.
No,
No.
if you look at some of Tyler's work too, you'll see that in some of the posters he'll put on the wall, there's a lot of attention to certain things. It might be a Pulp Fiction scene or something. Tyler, so Tyler will now put a little Aquaman poster in there.
Oh.
A little post
Just for Marky.
Yeah, there we go. A
There it
little
is.
tiny Aquaman poster is a little shout out. There we go.
That's funny.
him fighting Namor.
There it is.
And then watch Marvel and DC sue us.
Right. A press release. DC is suing Black Mask.
Right.
It's
So
not Aquaman, it's Flying Fish Man.
that's right.
Yeah.
It's Ken
She
Barbie.
was flying fish.
It's Man Aqua.
So obviously I got my last couple questions. Where could I pick up your original books? You know, I know you got some on there. Is that actual comic or is it a trade that are on your website there? For your original stuff, the stuff that you've done.
Those are all single issue. Oh yeah, that stuff is all. That stuff's all available on my website. They're $5, and they're mostly just like, with the exception of Baby Teeth, which is a little bit larger. The other ones are shorter. They're like 12 pages, but they're floppies. They're like maybe a little bit bigger than your standard comic size, or like just a slightly smaller, depending on which book. And then they're risograph printed, which is this like weird printing method that I like. That is popular in the self-published scene. But yeah, you can get them either on the website, or I always bring them to shows. I don't bring that many, depending on the show. Like, that's the weird thing too, is like doing these more, maybe like, I hesitate to call them mainstream shows. I hate making that division, but just for the sake of what we're talking about, I'll call it that. Mainstream shows, I only bring a couple because normally people aren't super into it. And then when I do the smaller, more like independent shows that I do, like I mostly exclusively bring those, but I'm starting to make an even balance of copies, because whatever.
And then
And I'm actually, yeah.
What's
I'm sorry.
no, what
Oh
was
no.
Oh,
No,
okay.
nothing. It was. No.
Thought you were done. Sorry. My last final question. My last final question though is I seen you do a skateboarding comic. Was skateboarding like a big influence for you when you were growing up?
Yeah.
And what's this Converse?
Yeah. I was a. Which what?
And you have and you're sponsored by Converse?
I'm sorry. What was
You work with Converse?
Oh yeah, I've worked with Converse we worked on they do a live show, Converse does, called Converse Rubber Tracks Live. And they hired me to do a poster for it to promote the show, which was super fun. That was a great job because they didn't tell me what to do. They were like, do whatever you want. It just has to be something that could fit with this band, and we'll pay you a bunch of money to do it.
Nice.
Which was great. And then skateboarding, skateboarding was a huge thing for me. You know, it was weird because like when I was in elementary school, I was one of the like cool kids. You know how like in elementary school, like you're not cool, but you have like a lot of friends.
Right.
And then by middle school, I started getting real weird, or not weird, but like, you know, it wasn't cool to read comic books anymore. It wasn't cool to be into like, you know, Blade Runner at the age of 11. Like none of your buddies wanted to watch that with you. And so you sort of not lost all my friends, but sort of like you go from being in like, there's like 5 different elementary schools in the district, and then you all get shoved into this one school. And so everyone sort of like divvies off into these different friend groups. And like, you know, it was like me and 2 other weirdos that were buddies. And skateboarding became a way of like sort of being able to like find the rest of the freaks.
Mm-hmm.
Like where are the rest of like the dudes who, you know, are into Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then also want to try and see if we can buy beer at the 7-Eleven at age 15, you know, 13, 14. Like where are the freaks? And so yeah, that was like, I think that stuff. I'm interested in that period of life and in storytelling, and like, I mean, clearly 4 kids and all these other things. But
Yeah.
And so that like, you know, self-reflecting on your own life, skateboarding was really important. And then like, you know, that transferred into like being in punk rock bands and like, I don't know, it feels like skateboarding, punk rock bands, and comics, I don't know, like those all seem to, I feel like they feed into each other. Like it's all sort of just like subcultures that are like, a little bit into the same sort of aesthetic.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I think we hit right at that hour mark there too to get you that beer there. Any last closing words you want to say?
Thank you guys so much for having me on this. This was great. I really appreciate you guys picking up the book, and I really appreciate you guys giving a shit. That's so humbling and really kind.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming on, and thank you, Silos, for getting your email address for you to come on, and the sketch, because I got the same sketch right there as Sean. We sent that all the way up to Newfoundland for him as well. So definitely.
I will never get one. Next time I got to get the little black eye drawn in now.
Yeah.
Right, you got to get the black eye
do
drawn.
it yourself.
Just do it yourself. Grab your marker, man. Just mark it in. You'll be all right. It'd be a good.
I'll say I did it if that helps.
Right.
You heard it.
So yeah, man, we really do appreciate it. Like we're just trying to bring the show from where it's at and up, and to have you on, man, was a pleasure. The book is amazing. I can't wait for the rest. I'm saddened though that you just broke my heart that it's only 5 issues, but
it says it on the cover.
Yeah, look, I was hoping for an extended run. They do that sometimes, Merc. God, don't listen to the numbers, but he just killed it for me. It's okay, though. I'm still getting it. But you also said you're going to be working on some more stuff later. So, again, very much thank you. Thank you very much for coming on, man. Really, really appreciate it.
Of course.
So is there going to be a sequel to 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank called 4 Kids Walk Out of a Bank?
Yes, yeah, that's actually the sequel.
They gotta walk out of it.
Well, that's the trick in it, right? We said there's not going to be a 4 Kids Walk into a bank number 2.
Maybe they don't
There'll be
walk
4
out.
kids walk out of a bank, and what they walk out of is with a loan, and it's great. And they start an ice cream shop.
Sponsored by Citibank.
Right.
It's a moral story about finance.
All right. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the show here, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start up another one where we talk about Archangel not accepting Jean Paul Ace Peter's friend request on Facebook. So I'm going to end it now. So thank you, everybody, for watching.
I'm going to get bashed.
Tyler Boss, 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. Go pick it up. Have a good night, everybody.